My clients are asking me a lot about this internal family systems technology that I'm using in their coaching sessions, and I'm delighted that they are, delighted that they want to know so much. And it's all over the place. If you haven't heard of it, internal family systems is kind of like the new wave of therapy. It's something that you can learn yourself. So it's fabulous to work with a trained coach or therapist, but you can actually learn this stuff and do it on your own. So I suppose it kind of fits into the self-help category as well. And it's going into everything, therapy, coaching, even yoga, somatic practices. I had exquisite session with a body worker who combines IFS with massage. It was so transformative. So, what is IFS? It was developed by Richard Schwartz several decades ago. It was not an easy sell to the mainstream therapy communities because the assertion is that we are all comprised of subpersonalities. Now, as an empath, somebody who was born with a certain amount of psychic abilities, which we all were, but I have my own special gifts that are unique to me. And I just always detected the subpersonalities in people. It was astounding to me that people would talk about, well, I feel this way. And then a day later, they'd be telling me they feel a different way. And they had no recollection of ever having felt a different way. But I was tracking that. I was like, well, there's a party that disagrees with that. And I go, no, 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 that's not true. So it was kind of frustrating for me actually being tuned into that. Did I see it in myself? I think I was less able to see it in myself. I was certainly subject to it though, and this is what I want you to know. If you don't understand your subpersonalities, you are at their mercy because although they mean the best and they want to help you, they are parts of yourself that have been doing a pretty good job of taking care of you over the years. They don't work well when they aren't supervised. So it's really helpful to get to know them and to make sure that yourself, your core being, the part of you that's ancient and has been around forever, is in charge so that we don't have firefighter parts, for instance, that are running amok and doing all kinds of coping mechanisms from avoidance patterns to caretaking to addictive acting out. Anyway, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So I am going to go into that stuff. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible so you can get a little primer into what in the heck is internal family systems and why is everybody talking about it? The reason everybody's talking about it is because this stuff really works. And one of the things it does is help you locate the parts of yourself that are working against each other so that you can start to be in charge of your behavior. How many times have you thought, well, I decided I was going to do this. I resolved to do that. But then somehow or another, I didn't. Or I meant to, but I think most of us can relate to that. Even the most anal control freaks among us, which is that would be me. I'm definitely an anal control freak. Have at least had moments where we're just like confused about why we did something. That's usually a sneaky part that is not on the radar. We don't know that it's there. And we want to go find it, go find that part, get to know it. We call it befriending the parts. So basically, your parts are comprised of firefighters and managers. Firefighters do things like addictions. Addictions are a great way to take you out of unpleasant feelings. Also, avoidance, like I'll just get to that tomorrow. That pattern also is meant to help you avoid really unpleasant feelings, forgetting things, kind of, oh, I don't remember what happened. Those sort of things are avoidant. And then we've got managers, and managers, oh my God, they do so much work. They get us places on time and they make sure we pay our bills in full, and they're very responsible and they take care of things. And if they aren't responsible, like God forbid, you have narcissistic traits, your managers are still figuring out how to play the system. So you might say they are kind of the big brain portion of your parts. And then there's self. Well, actually, there's also exiles. Exiles are those wounded parts of yourselves that have kind of gotten deep six. They're in hiding. They're so wounded. They're so small. They're so fragile. The firefighters are valiantly fighting to protect them. And your exiles are kind of living all by themselves. And what we find as we unearth the exiles is they really want our love. They want us to show up for them. And that takes some practice to learn how to do that. So, self is the ancient wise part of you. What's great about IFS therapy and IFS coaching is it's geared toward leading you to your inner knowing, your ultimate wisdom. It isn't goal directed in the sense of trying to get you to save your marriage or do better at work. Because for all many of us might know, yourself might have a different agenda. It might want a divorce. It might want to quit your job. It's not, as a coach, an IFS coach, never my business. I'm not here to set agendas. I am here to help my clients discover their parts and navigate them in a way that helps them make their best choices, helps them contact their brilliance, their clarity, their compassion. And so we move towards those parts that are acting out with compassion and clarity and curiosity. We want to ask questions like, how long have you been helping me? How are you trying to help me? If you didn't do the thing you do, what might happen? So let's say you've got an angry part that sometimes does some acting out that's potentially damaging to yourself or other people. You can go to that part with curiosity and compassion. I know you're trying to protect me. Exactly how are you doing that? And how long have you been doing it? And a lot of times these firefighters will actually say, oh, yeah, I showed up when you were in high school and you were getting bullied, or I showed up when you were in grade school and remember that teacher that was really dismissive and mean to you, or I showed up when, your parent abused you. And this gives us an insight into how these parts are acting out. One of the things that happens a lot of times with parts is they get polarized. So I have a part that is really set on, we're going to lose weight, let's say. And then we have another part that's like, no, we're going to eat a bag of chocolate chip cookies. And they both mean well, and they're both sweet. So that's the thing. We don't get to judge these parts. And in the act of not judging them, of moving towards them with this curiosity and compassion and no judgment, they actually relax. And when they relax, they're less likely to act out, which means maybe you won't eat the bag of cookies. Maybe you won't smoke a cigarette. Maybe you won't sabotage a relationship. Instead, maybe you'll be able to do the thing that you always wanted to do, be able to fulfill your dreams, be able to show up in the ways that you always wanted to show up, because now you understand the parts inside of you that are running the show. And you are starting to show up for them in a way that helps them give up control and allow you to take what we call an IFS, the steering wheel, so that you're the one driving the bus. You can look at it any way you want. You're the CEO, you're the conductor of a big symphony, whatever metaphor works for you. You want everybody to work together in a way that harmonizes and makes beautiful music. So that's in a nutshell. And I would invite you to think about a place in your life where you are frustrated right now. You're not meeting your goal. You are doing things that you are kind of shocked and disturbed by. Like, I want to stop doing that, but I can't stop doing that, or can't stop saying that thing, or can't stop feeling that thought, or can't, whatever it is, something that's kind of bugging you. And instead of staying with the part that gets irritated and judgmental about some aspect of yourself. Move towards, well, the first thing that I have to do actually is move towards the part that's judgmental, and ask it if it could give you a little space to go towards the part it doesn't like. And if it doesn't agree, you're going to have to spend a little more time with that part and find out how it's protecting you by judging the other part of you. Once it decides that it feels safe enough and seen enough, it'll move to the side. Then you can move to the part that's getting all of the hate. And you can bring us some love. Bring us some love, and it will start to work with you instead of against you. Let me know if you're able to try this. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you're already savvy to internal family systems and how it's benefiting your life. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.